Hi everyone. Welcome to BeerThralls presents the Beer Protocol. I'm James. I'm drinking a rum of Coke, the second one.
Welcome to James. Hi, everyone. It's Jacob. I have a little bit leftover white wine I used to make risotto.
Ooh, that sounds delicious. Actually, I should make risotto.
Uh, Risotto's good. I like everyone. Risotto is a little time intensive, but it's really not very hard. Give it a shot. You make really fun, nice, creamy rice. Put in vegetables at your desire.
Do you also know it's nice and creamy rice? She-Hulk,
So, riding the wave of excitement from the announcement and the first trailer of her show
the
for
horrible
Disney Plus.
CGI trailer.
Okay, we'll take a brief sidebar to talk about it.
It's
Yes,
not
she
finished.
looks like it's just her with tall and green. Honestly, it's fine. It
It,
gets the
it's
point across.
they've already said it's not. The CGI is not finished.
I
So
mean, is it roughly the quality of Shrek? I mean, yeah,
I thought Ready Player One. It had that look of Ready Player One. Anyway, She-Hulk, also known as Jennifer Walters.
is a
Um,
lawyer, and I really want there to be a scene in the Disney Plus show of her just doing a normal court trial, but she's so stressed she hulked out.
so it'd be Silent Partner.
No, I really just want a normal law discussion, like a Law and Order episode. It's just she's green, 8 feet tall, and at one point she gets really angry and breaks her bench in half.
And just goes dun dun. Anyway,
Uh,
she's ungodly 20 health.
yeah, so let's talk about She-Hulk. She-Hulk on her card, the stats: 20 health, medium move, which is hey better than Hulk short, size
Yeah,
3, which is interesting compared to Hulk, who is size 4. So size 3 both means she can be pushed around by a lot more effects than Hulk can, but she can actually reasonably expect to be able to find cover
yeah,
or block
actually.
line of sight, which Hulk can't. There's like one piece of terrain, if you're lucky, that Hulk can hide behind. She is sixth threat, so she's one of the heavyweights of the game. 3 physical defense, 4 energy defense, and 3 mystic defense. At the time she was released, we all were just immediately like, she can tank way
Well,
better than Hulk can. And
and
then new Hulk
it,
came out, and we're like, oh
yeah.
god, Hulk can tank,
Mhm.
which makes complete sense. Her first attack is Sensational Uppercut, a range 2, which, again, granted, on her base size, remember, she's going to be on a bigger base,
It's
so range 2 can go a ways.
yeah.
7 dice, 0 cost. After the attack is resolved, this character gains power equal to the damage dealt. After this attack is resolved, the target character gains the slow special condition.
Not bad builder gets you slow.
I mean, 7 dice, damage based builder, pretty okay. Slow is nice.
I mean,
It
six
gives
threat
her
character.
it gives her utility against objective runners if she can catch them. She can take away a lot of their effective escape mechanisms by just making them slow. And it could help kind of keep everything around her because enemies can't really get out of her reach to as easy.
Right. The
Her
defense
spender,
rest.
range 3, which again, big range on a big base, 9 dice base, 5 cost.
Five
Physical.
cost.
If this attack deals damage after the attack is resolved, the target character gains the slow and stun special conditions. If the target character already has the slow special condition, it gains the stagger special condition.
So we'll get back to those. I have opinions. So let's talk about the fact that she's like the leader of A Force.
Yeah, so we haven't talked a lot about A Force on this show. Not necessarily because we don't like them. I think they're really cool.
They're
It's
very
one of those
powerful.
factions that's so broad and has so many interesting members. And again, like the theme is the Woman of Marvel, which means you get a lot of characters in an affiliation that don't necessarily have the same thematic element tying elements. Other than that, that can be a weird, janky disconnect. I think
Hmm.
in this case, though, they managed to make it work because you have an affiliation that has a lot of really interesting models in one faction that you would take as splashes in other lists, but here they all work together. And this leadership bonus is very good,
God,
which
his
helps them all work together harmoniously.
this leadership bonus is fucking amazing.
Defenders of Arcadia. When an allied character is damaged by an enemy effect, another allied character may gain 1 power. A character may not gain more than 1 power from this leadership ability per turn. So, 2 restrictions. Only 1 power gets given away per damaging effect,
Hmm.
and only to the same model once. Now, as a reminder, An activation is when you activate a model until the end of that model's activation. A turn is essentially that player's opportunity to activate something. And then a round is once all the players have gone back and forth. So per turn, again, really important for a force's leadership, essentially means you only can use it once the same model per enemy's turn. You can absolutely give power to the same model over multiple enemy turns.
Don't say enemy. Because if you get damaged by an enemy effect during your turn, somebody else gets an energy also.
Correct.
So like
This is
you have uh
any defensive counter
Green
strike.
Goblin's explosion, the Sin slash Crossbones combo thing. There's a lot of stuff that's out of activation.
Yeah. Again, any counter attack.
Yep.
Okay. It's really good. It makes a force a very attractive affiliation to splash power hungry models into
Say
because
like
you can
Electra.
feed them. I still don't think it saves Electra.
It does not say
I'm
Electra.
sorry. Uh, Clear the Court. Cost 3 as a superpower. Choose an interactive terrain feature or an enemy character, both size 4 or less and within range 2, and throw them medium.
God, the fact
This
that this is
superpower can,
also a character. But yeah,
yeah,
sorry, it
the
can only be
fact
once
that
US
it's,
per turn.
yeah, only once per turn. Terrain or character size. This is a great throw. This is probably right up there for one of the most powerful throws in the game. Again, 6 threat character.
Yep.
Like the only potentially better throw you might see is Magneto,
Yeah.
with the amount of flexibility he has with his throws and the fact it's not once per turn. But for a once per turn throw, size 4, you can choose anything within 2 of you, and you get a good distance on it.
And it's
It's
only
crazy
3.
good.
That's actually pretty good for a throw.
Again, reasonable cost for how good the throw is. Superior weight training costs 3. During the next attack made by this character this turn, add dice to the attack roll equal to the size of the target. This is
Oh.
a little more niche. It's fun that it's an option. It can make She Hulk a large boy hunter. This combined with the fact that she can throw him makes her kind of funny as a counter to Hulk. It does mean she might be able to punch through Juggernaut and Hulkbuster just as effectively. So
Yeah.
again, you're investing a lot of points and a very high value model into targeting your opponent's big boys.
I
But
I wouldn't do this for anything under size 3. I mean, at size 3 you
yeah,
get the 1-to-1 and it works out great. If you get a size 4 character, like hitting them with it, it's bonus.
however, it is dice rolls. Dice rolls, it
Dice
is
rolls.
not guaranteed whatsoever. Also worth remembering that She Hulk on her own actually doesn't have any wild triggers on
Yeah,
her attack. She doesn't care what symbol she gets. So more dice are just kind of generically good. Rerolls are still generically good, however you can get them, but you are not dependent on dice symbols for your effects.
exactly.
All right, as a reaction, legal defense for cost 2. When an allied character within range 2 of this character is targeted by an attack, this character may use the superpower. This character becomes the target of the attack regardless of range and line of sight.
That's
So
nice.
it's defender. Um, it's interesting because She Hulk is probably one of the most expensive models you're taking on the field, and she has other reasons why even with her 20 health, you don't want a
She's
ton of damage on
she
her,
doesn't have an injured side.
which which means she's KO'd as soon as that
She's
20 health
KO'd as
runs
soon as that
out.
20 O's runs out. So that
Legal defense
might
is risky.
it's a trade-off.
I'd much rather have bodyguard on a 2 or 3 threat model than my 6 threat model,
Yeah,
especially since while her defenses are slightly her defenses are average, for, unless except for energy.
mm, a little
She
bit
doesn't have
above, but yeah.
threes. She has
For a six
3.
threat, it's a little low, but she's still good.
Well, it's still okay, but you just said 4 is 6 threat. Everything's being measured against that stick of
I
you
know.
paid money. You paid good money to bring the green lady here. Anyway, Gamma Transfusion is a passive ability. During the power phase, this character gains an additional power. After the attack targeting this character is resolved, If this character suffered damage, it can advance short towards the attacking character. Additionally, if this character would flip its stat card to the injured side, it is KO'd instead. Okay, 2 power generation turn. Fantastic. She has lots of good superpowers. So having that 2 power generation is going to help a lot. Also makes it a lot more feasible for her 7 dice builder to let her use her 1-2 combo of builder directly into spender.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
She's immune to
the
poison.
She is immune to poison. Her last thing. The ability to advance short towards an attacking character would be greatly appreciated on Hulk,
On a
but it's
larger
here.
base.
Um, it gives her she already has medium mobility, so she Hulk is probably not going to have a lot of difficulty keeping people within her ranges. Like I'd assume she can get to a target after round one, pretty much almost guaranteed every round. Um, if your opponent's targeting her, and again, your opponent's probably
Mm-hmm.
targeting her because the value of knocking her down once is pretty big.
Yeah.
Okay, since she has no backside, this is pretty much her card. Overall, again, She Hulk originally came out before Hulk's remix.
Correct.
And in that world, She Hulk was a pretty clear update to Hulk that felt a lot more effective on the table. The fact she's also an affiliation leader, A Force has no alternative, means you're probably going to get lots of reps with She Hulk if you want to play A Force.
We actually made statements of like, oh, if you're playing like Captain America, not the Sam list, the real Captain America
The
list,
Steve
the
Rogers,
Steve Rogers,
Regal Captain, I
the
will
real Captain
fight
America.
you.
We said take She-Hulk instead of normal Hulk. She's better now.
Normal Hulk with his rebalance is actually really tanky
Yeah.
and will make your opponent work for those 20 that 20 damage.
We also now
Not
we also now have Juggernaut. We got.
so again, without a ways to buff her defense, legal defense feels a lot riskier than it used to.
Hmm.
Um it's a big investment. I think okay, so you said you want to say something earlier about her attack profile of
So
the slow into spender for
talk
potentially stagger.
talk about her special cards. She's got two
Okay.
tactic cards.
Yeah, so looking at tactic cards, She Hulk does bring some options. First one, Agents of Smash. If Hulk and She Hulk are within range 2 of the same terrain feature of 5 or less, they can each spend 3. One of them can throw it long.
Yeah, yeah. No, not gonna happen. I'm not gonna pay six. I'm not gonna have 12 points on two
12
characters with
threat.
not. Yeah, no,
I
no.
think there's a case to be made that in like a 14 threat
There,
game,
there is.
Hulk, She
It's
Hulk,
terrible.
and
Okoye?
long to heal them is terrifying.
No, I'm not spending. I'm not spending 12 points just so I can throw
It's
something long.
it's too much threat. I think
I'd
it is
rather
the
just
only
spend something
current
and throw something medium.
I think it is the only way to throw a size 5 terrain currently.
Yeah.
How niche is size 5 terrain is already not an every table.
Yeah, it's. Mm,
I
it's not gonna be
Agents
worth it.
of, Agents of Smash is very fun because it uses the word smash. It's an interaction for the two cousins and it has a hilarious over the top effect. I like that the card exists. I would never play it.
I like the card exists, and I would never play it.
Yep. However, the one that's absolutely going to get played is Special Delivery. An A Force specific card as a
Hmm.
reactive. When an A Force character with flight begins a move action within range 2 of an allied She Hulk, they can each spend 1. When the active character ends their move, place She Hulk within range 1 of it. She Hulk then immediately performs one of her attacks that has a listed energy cost of 0. This is drop off. This
It's
drop off
wait.
was
It's scary drop off. The
This is
fact that
drop off was the first banned card in the game because people realized it was super abusable. So for A Force, they literally reprinted it as A Force specific with more restrictions, and it's still incredibly good.
so you can take Wasp, fly halfway across the board, and just be like, She-Hulk.
Now it does specify with an A Force character with flight, so that's going
uh,
to help reduce some of the shenanigans.
so Wasp.
Angela, if
Oh
you're
yeah, true.
dropping 5
Angela.
threat,
Angela.
Angela's scary all on her own at 5 threat. Let's see. Captain Marvel at 4 threat.
Hmm.
Wasp, like you said, at 3 threat. Doing a quick rundown. Scarlet Witch at 5 threat.
Ooh, Scarlet Witch.
None of these are long movers, is probably worth noting. Storm, also at 3 threat. Actually, they have a lot more flight than they used
They have
to.
a ton of flight now.
That's a medium move on Storm. Uh, okay. Okay. You want to hear some truly deviant nonsense?
I would love to hear some truly deviant nonsense.
Wasp has long move when she's tiny.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, Wasp may be the winner because she's 3 threat, is a good model on her own, and can basically teleport She-Hulk really far away.
I like how you didn't trust me on this. Like, you're like, no, like
I
Wasp
mean,
is a meme movie.
I
No,
haven't looked at Wasp in a
no.
while. I'm
You
sorry.
get Titty Wasp to be like, hee.
I'm sorry.
So, okay, let's talk about. I definitely no. You're definitely taking that. That is a given if you're playing A Force.
Oh, also Crystal.
Eh,
Crystal has flight
if you're
and has long move innately.
no,
No
no,
shenanigans.
you're not.
Take Crystal.
You're not taking
Enjoy
Crystal.
your Crystal,
No,
fools.
no. Well, I mean, you're going to have them anyway because, well, no, you're not because it's
Dude,
humans.
A-Force
Um,
slaps. I'm looking at this faction list again.
it's
There's so
so
many
good.
cool. A-Force literally is the affiliation. Like, what if we just took a bunch of really fun thematic models from all the other affiliations and said they could work together?
I am surprised like that is not more top tier. Like, I don't
I,
understand why.
in all honesty, I think it's She-Hulk. Because She-Hulk was really good when she first came out, but there are so many good high threat options now, and I think she's kind of getting left behind.
You think?
Um, in general, she has bodyguard and a character that I don't want getting hit, and she has no way to reward
Okay,
you for getting attacked with her.
so let's talk about that.
It's
Let's talk
it's
about legal
rough.
defense. I probably would not use legal defense to take a big hit. I would take
If it
legal defense against somebody who's like throwing 3 dice. Like
maybe,
somebody's got a builder going on. They're attacking, I don't know, Wasp in small
I
form, or
mean,
they're doing something else. I would take it at that point and then get my short move. I probably would not take it. Well, okay, I might take it if like they're about to die and I really need that character. I'll pass it off to She-Hulk and get a little extra power.
yeah, using
But
legal defense to deny your opponent energy generation off of small builders is very funny.
it's really that's why it's not called bodyguard because it's not meant to be used as bodyguard. It's there as a oh shit, or I'm just taking this little tiny hit so I can move a little bit closer.
Or to give out power.
Or to give out
Although,
power, that's
granted,
right, because you do take the damage and pass it off to the person who was going to get hit originally,
yeah,
and if they have some type of special defensive shenanigans, there you go.
it's still iffy. Like it's one of those things where I think you're gonna need to get reps and practice with her to get a feel for when is the right time to use legal defense.
Yeah.
Like I would use it against Nebula, for example, because assuming
Mm,
Nebula is going after one of your objective runners and the range on legal defense is within 2, which is pretty decent, you could force Nebula to attack She-Hulk, hopefully who doesn't have an objective and doesn't trigger Nebula's rerolls,
yeah.
and you can
Um,
kind of mitigate an assassin.
would I like okay, so yes, for in the case of Nebula, absolutely
She-Hulk
take
is
it onto
precious to
yourself.
me, and I want her to live longer so she can punch more
But
things.
you're absolutely right on that though. Like if you have an objective runner and Nebula is targeting it and you're close enough to take that damage, she doesn't get the bonus, you don't have an objective. Hopefully you don't have an objective. Um, don't use her as a tank.
It's the She-Hulk is not a natural tank. However, one way She-Hulk does have some damage mitigation is through offense. Um, her giving people slow with her builder is
Hmm.
very interesting for locking down your opponent's game plan. Ask anyone who's played against Web Warriors. Slow can be kind of oppressive when applied widely.
I
However,
love passing out slow.
the defense rests if they already have slow, like say you've just tagged them a couple of
Mm.
times. Being able to slap stagger on for 5 power is pretty okay. And stun. Stun is always good to throw down.
So let's talk about that. So you're throwing you have 2 extra dice between uppercut and defense thrust.
Uh huh.
Would you would you spend the 5 power, or would you? Because you're already gonna get 2 from her power phase. You're probably gonna get another 2 or 3 from sensational uppercut. Would you do another sensational uppercut to basically throw them? Like, would you want to spend the
Just
5 power that she has to do defense rest, or would you rather have it
oh,
throw?
okay. The throw is probably better damage and position wise than her spender on most occasions.
Yep,
However, if she's running super heavy, which to be fair, um, She Hulk can use the leadership on herself when her allies get damaged
yep.
to kind of like a Ghost Rider. And good lord, let me tell you, Ghost Rider never has power problems
So also it says
and can
allied
pretty
character. So if you splash in somebody who's very power hungry that's
true.
not part of A Force, yes, pass it off to that person because that'd be good. Um,
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why A Force is one of people is a really good affiliation to splash things because they get the full benefit of a powerful leadership.
Now, okay, if you're within range 3 defense rests, that's the only thing, but then you won't have your uppercut.
I kind of feel that She Hulk, if they do a second wave, She Hulk might be on the list. Just because I think she is good as she is, but again, we're seeing later model designs. Like again, Juggernaut is such a perfect 5 threat model in terms of design and capability.
Hmm.
Hulkbuster is a great 6 threat model for what he brings to the table. New Hulk
That's
is
actually a fucking good point. Like Juggernaut's only a 5-point model,
yeah.
and he's,
Uh,
I would say, better than She-Hulk. But
New Hulk is another great 6 threat model because he has all the strengths of old Hulk. His 3 attacks giving him different attack profiles for different situations. Like having the flexibility of a beam attack on a 6 threat model is super great. But now he has additional durability to offset his weakness, and he's just a really consistent sort of unit that moves around the table. She Hulk, I'm getting more grinding gears. It's not that she's actively bad or works against her interests. I just feel like she has the big giant hit me please flag that Hulk does,
yes,
but she now no longer she doesn't have any inherent defensive mechanics other than denying your opponent actions.
if she had something like invulnerability, where she just like reduce it by
That might
1,
be all it takes
that's might be all it
to
takes.
make her super flex to make
But
her
then,
just a lot more comfortable to
oh,
play.
that's really like almost giving her like 10 more hit points. Like
It kind of is.
it makes her extremely tanky. Now she is here's the issue with Hulk. We discussed even old Hulk. Um, we discussed you cannot charge in and just be like, I'm here, I'm Hulk, I'm going to start hitting things. He will die.
Hmm.
She is even worse than that. You kind of have to have her with some type of support running with her. Basically, like I can see running a Koye behind her where Okoye
Yeah,
goes, I'll use bodyguard. She takes the hit, passes the power back to She Hulk. Now She Hulk has 3 power, and she can throw the person that just did the attack.
yeah. I think She-Hulk is incredibly great on offense output. Like I'd actually argue that for just terms of damage, she's probably up there with the hardest hitters in the game because her 7 dice builder, her 9 dice spender, and her throw for up to size 4 is extremely good. It's really straightforward. It has
Yep.
very little gimmicks or tricks. Like off the top of my head, the only things I can think of that are probably going to do more damage turn to turn is maybe Scarlet Witch because Scarlet Witch has ranged,
Yeah.
and that's
Which
the
is,
biggest reason why.
and she's part of the A Force. So,
And she is part. Um, Now, granted, with all that said, you do have to take She-Hulk if you
hmm
want to play A Force. And A Force again is probably it's not an affiliation I'm currently playing myself. It is on the list of things if I did want to sort of mess around and have fun on Tabletop Simulator without having to go out and run and get She-Hulk. I've played a few games with A Force on Tabletop Simulator that were a ton of fun. And if you want to see a bunch of characters throw off superpowers left and right, A Force is a great affiliation to really use all of the character's card more consistently.
So, would
We'll
you
talk
put
about it
her?
probably A Force in more detail.
We're gonna have
As a
to.
splash, I don't think I would splash She-Hulk unless I would want to be able to splash A-Force. Because again, A-Force has so many options on other lists that you could really easily build like an Avengers list
We
and then
did.
just transition to A-Force with
What
almost no
what
effort.
was the list that
Wakanda and
that's right,
A-Force
it's
were the
Wakanda A
two I had
Force.
comboed.
Um and I don't see her being splashed in. Like I can't think of any place I would be like, no, she's definitely going into my list. Um I think
So
I'd
some
probably use her as a midpoint defender. Or
maybe
like giving her a hammer would be great, or giving her a multiple hammers would be great. Um
something I'll mention real quick. A-Force does have two other unique tactic cards which actually are both defensive in nature and which can help patch up her biggest issue of having kind of so-so defenses. A Force has, well, A Force. An A Force character can spend 3 power to play this card. When an allied character is defending against an attack this round, add a die to their defense for every other allied A Force character within 2 of that character.
hmm,
So when you get to the scrum and you have 2 or 3 models all together, play A Force and watch their defenses skyrocket.
yeah. Yeah.
Like that's a solid 1 round solution. Again, only works for 1 round, but if it's like a
But
really critical
round's
game
pretty
shifting
long,
round, like 2 or 3, that could be a really impactful card.
especially playing that at the beginning of the round.
Because yes, you do that does have to be your activation. And then the other card is Stalwart Determination. During the power phase, any number of allied A Force characters can spend 1 power to play this card. Characters that spent power cannot be pushed or thrown by enemy effects this round.
Would I take that?
Oh, absolutely, you take it.
Oh, eh, mm,
You take it and watch Criminal Syndicate try to figure out how to get you off points for a round, and you take away all their momentum by refusing to be controlled by Lizard or
yeah,
Kingpin.
that's true. That's true. That's
Again,
that's not bad.
if you ever want to know whether a card's good or not, imagine playing into it and figure out if your opponent just says, "Oh yeah, none of my guys can be pushed or thrown. Also, I have
Like
a bunch of cheap models, so I outnumber you."
spending both of those the same turn though makes you pretty much a I'm staying on this point, screw you.
hmm
um,
A Force, despite having a 6 threat leader, does have the ability to play tall or wide.
yes.
Just all in a you you can splash models in A Force, but you do not have to. There's enough depth, I think, in the list that you can. A Force is so cool.
I mean, if you wanted to play terrifying, yeah, you could do A Force with like Juggernaut,
I mean, Juggernaut makes every roster a little scarier.
passing off Juggernaut packs for power, just so you can do more stuff. Oof.
I actually don't know if Juggernaut needs that, to be honest.
He doesn't, but it's like frosting on a cake. It's like you don't need it, but it's still delicious.
Yeah, I'd rather have models. I'd rather have models that get really silly with the extra power because then I feel like I'm like, ah, yes, I've discovered one of the secrets of the universe. Take that,
Well,
He-Man.
Wanda definitely benefits from this. Like, oh my
I mean,
god, giving her more power is just terrifying.
even someone like Crystal, who has 4 cost 0 attacks, though, her 4 cost power to let her fire off more attacks is that's a worthwhile use of power.
All right,
Okay, we
so
can talk. This is turning into an A Force episode.
it is.
Uh, Final
How
thought on She-Hulk.
how would you use her in the list? Where would you place her in the game?
So, base assumption for A Force is you have to take She-Hulk. So you're taking her. From there, I think you need to figure out what scenarios you yourself are going to bring. So you can start targeting what your average threat is. If you're skewing high, maybe bring Scarlet Witch, because like you said, having more power
Mm,
unlocks a lot of her kit, and she can do a lot of very nasty offense. Or maybe if you want to play tall, you look at Angela, look at Medusa, and you get big control and offensive powerhouses. Or you could play wide and have lots of really kind of niche support
two and three
or
port. Yeah.
But a lot of those pieces, like, oh yeah, Domino is here too.
Oh fuck.
Just a lot of outstanding pieces that have kind of niches they fit into.
I'm
Um,
I'm kind of wanting to make like it a force wide and have her being escorted. Like I
yeah,
don't think she should be alone. I think she should be escorted at all times.
preferably by someone with flight, so they can either reposition her to the other side of the board,
Hmm.
take her super deep into your opponent's back end to take out their support.
Ooh, magic.
Magic is not here.
But still,
Magic is not here.
splash her in, teleport She-Hulk around.
That's not how magic works.
She can teleport with the card.
Yeah, by incinerating her.
She can take it.
I mean, if you want that, spend your 3 threat to bring Clea.
Oh, well, mm. Or the
That's a
or the
much easier
or
way to
the
be able to
dog.
teleport.
Or the dog.
Or yeah, bring the dog. Um, yeah, it's so. Where would you play her in the list? Like you said, I think she is probably going to want some kind of escort, preferably someone that can either take the heat off of her, like Okoye with bodyguard, or someone who can help control points and sort of help limit who can get to She-Hulk. Like, I don't know, Shuri,
Sure, he's a good
who's
choice.
also an A force, and you could just use that to bully people off points.
Hmm.
Because again, other than her throw, She-Hulk does not have a way to get someone off the point, so she can clobber them very hard to throw one person off. Which again, she can throw size 4, so Criminal Syndicate does not have a good response to just being yeeted.
Can Shuri make her a reroll? Or make her,
Yes.
yeah. So I would know. That's a good idea.
Um, that's kind of the probability on an A Force list is you can very easily fill it with 10 All Stars and then not know who
Yeah.
to take at game time.
So, that's She-Hulk. I hope you guys enjoy this, and we will see you possibly Wednesday on a special episode of Beer Protocol. So, bye.